What is going on? I hope y'all are doing well. This is a video for people who are you're searching YouTube, you're scrolling, you're looking at like people's experiences through driving a truck or getting into their own truck, training at different companies. It's weird how YouTube will randomly throw things in my feed, but I watch some of them, and most recently it's been like truck training horror stories where people will be like, the truth about Prime, the truth about Raider Express, what no one tells you about training for Pam, insert company name here. And there are legitimate gripes, and then there's what I'm making this video about. The worst part, at least, and this is all my opinion, truck drivers got a million different opinions and we don't agree on shit anyway, but my opinion is training, doesn't matter where you go, for me, is the worst part about driving a truck is getting into this industry. And it's not the actual job itself, I'm not a people person, you know what I mean? So like sitting in a shoebox, and it's bigger than a shoebox, I'm just trying to dictate the amount of space you have with another individual, with somebody else for 4 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, is a stressful situation and not an enjoyable situation unless you get along extremely well with the person you're paired with. And when I see these videos, there's legitimate gripes, right? Like trainer's dirty, didn't take a shower for weeks on end, his truck's dirty, he's not teaching me how to back up. And then half of them are, it's more the attitude those people are bringing before they even walk into a door, when it wouldn't matter who they're paired with. They're angry because the red carpet isn't getting folded out for them, because they feel like they're not getting the appropriate amount of training, or that their training is not up to their standard. So I'm just trying to do this video where if you're searching, watch this. We ain't gonna watch any other of my shit. Watch this one and take this one, take it with you, and then think real hard, right? If you want to do this or not. I wouldn't do a single other thing in my life, but before you go anywhere, you need to understand it's gonna suck. Embrace the suck, right? Training is gonna be horrible, and even if you get the best person and you get along, just the nature of what we do, you're going to go to sleep in one state, you're going to wake up 3 states down the road. If you're in winter, you're going to wake up and got to walk half a mile to the truck stop to go take a piss or something. There's a million different things that make this stressful to begin with if you haven't been into it. That is a new experience for you if you've had a 9-to-5 job, or a job where you go into a building every day, or you've never left home. There's stressors that are just naturally going to make it a bad experience that you're going to have to suck it up and take it. And then there's going to be stressors whether you get along with your trainer. Is he training you? How is he training you, right? What can you expect? And this is just, when you come into training, you can expect to get your life, doesn't matter where, right? Like, these are things that you should raise your hand and make us think about, in my opinion. If your trainer isn't teaching you how to back up a trailer, make us think about it. If your trainer's dirty and has shit all over his truck, make us think about it. That's about it. If he's not teaching you how to run your clock, at least how he does it, or efficiently, right? Because everyone runs, we all drive, right? We all go down the same highways, but we all have our own ways of doing it. So you might not agree with how he's training you, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with it. You have to get through it, right? But if those things aren't what's pissing you off, and it's exterior things, like you can't expect your trainer to be out there while you're doing a pre-trip and watching you. You can't expect him to sit in that passenger seat and watch you drive down the road the whole time you're sitting there driving. It's an unrealistic expectation. And would you really want a guy telling you when to change lanes, every turn to make, when to turn your blinker on for 2-3 weeks or 3 months? No, that'd get pretty tiring pretty quick. Your trainer's going to expect you to be able to drive this truck and hit him up if you have any issue. At a certain point, he's going to believe that you are proficient enough to get this truck down the highway in a safe manner. And will train you based on whatever problems arise when you're going down that highway. When I see videos of the horrible truth of this or my disaster training experience, when I see it, at least 80% of the ones that I see it's trucking. Like you don't want this is like I say it out loud to her. It's like, that's trucking. Like it's some of this shit is not enjoyable, right? Some of this is, especially in training, because you're with somebody else. Before you walk out of the door and you choose that this is going to be where you're going to go or the route you're going to take in life, understand getting to the point of where you're on your own and when you have your own seat, make your own rules, is the worst part. Even if you get along great with whoever you pair with. If you do, even better, but there's still going to be frustrations. Just the nature that what we do is like shell shock to people who don't do this. It's not normal. We just do. It's normal to me now because I do it all the time. It's normal to all of us out here because it's life. But if you walk in, before you walk into whatever company you're going to, before you walk into the door to get your license, before you walk on whatever truck you're going on, to give yourself the best chance of success in getting to the point where when you walk in that door, you want to get your own truck. You want to get your license. You want a little experience under your belt. To knock that out, you need to understand, I would assume, and how I assume, that everything's going to go wrong. Expect the worst. That way, there's, like, you're good. If it isn't the worst possible situation, you're doing all right. That's how I got through it. And if you notice, a lot of the big guys all have situations where they ran into horrible first, like, PSD trainers, or just there's plenty of them where, like, there was genuinely shitty people out here just to run you for miles, right, or extra money, and don't train. Raise your hand when you see those little red flags, because 2 weeks down the road, those will be bigger red flags, and it'll be a lot harder to deal with. So try to raise your hand while you're still at whatever terminal you're at to try to change that situation. It's not going to go well. That's what I went with, and it didn't go well. I had to go one, and then the reason I switched my second one was like a health issue with him, so that's not training. But then I switched to another one, and then I luckily got a guy who I'm still talking to today who's like my brother, and I mean that with my whole heart. But you might not get as lucky as I did, but it took 3 times for me to hit that mark. It took me raising my hand, but I didn't have an attitude when things went wrong. Okay, what's next? What do we got to do? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed every time. Didn't piss, didn't moan, didn't complain. Did what I had to do to get where I'm at, to get on my own 2 feet, and then I made plans after that. And the only reason, when I drove, what am I, 36 now? I was 21 when I went through U.S. Express and Roadmaster. So 21, 15 years ago, right, when I drove and then left. The only reason I didn't come back sooner was because the training experience of how much of a shock that was to me. That was what kept me away from this business for so long after I left. And I got along great with the I got lucky and hit an amazing man. I wish I remember his name at U.S. Express. Training's gonna suck, and if it doesn't, count yourself lucky. Doesn't matter. I don't care where you go. There's a high chance that you are going to be pissed off and frustrated. Don't get an attitude. Don't get emotional. Eye on the prize, eye on the ball. Finish whatever, whether that's miles or hours. Get it done. And if you end up not liking where you're going or where you went, luckily for you, there's a lot of truck driving companies. So just before you walk out that door, to go wherever you're going, whether that's Prime, fucking Pam, Hobby Lobby, Warner, Swift, whatever, make sure that your expectations are simple and that your ability to pop off and get an attitude is going to make things worse. So I would suggest not to get an attitude. Because just the nature of you getting plopped out of wherever you've been or whatever you've done into this situation out here is going to be stressful enough. So don't make things harder on yourself. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I want to say is I want to put one out. So y'all have a good one. Best of luck to you if that's your plan, if that's your goal. I'm rooting for you. And keep on keeping on. Tiptoe, tip where I'm going. Y'all take it easy.